would make everything really difficult. And do not jump onto my desk, because that would also make things really difficult. Why don't you just not... why don't you just be somewhere... Oh, okay. That where you... Okay. 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 If that's where you're gonna be, then that's where you're gonna be, I guess, Lobster. But it's right in the middle of things. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, I was just telling Lobster that he was in the way. Which, hello, everybody. He knew. Welcome to the stream. Sorry. I hope that your, what night is it, Wednesday night is going well. I am enjoying this evening. It is raining outside, so there's just the gentle rain sounds of like cars driving by, and it's very soothing. So that's quite nice. But instead of just settling in on the couch and watching cozy stuff like the Moomins, which I probably will do in a little bit, I figured I hadn't felt like I was particularly productive today, and that was bothering me. It's not like every day of my life I need to be productive or I need to stream or anything like that, but it was annoying me, so I figured, well, if I feel that bothered by it, I can just come on here and I can stream a little bit, and that should make that feeling not so prominent. So gonna see what I can do to put some details on More-athi here, highlight some of the skin, I think, and just kind of, see where patience leads me on kind of doing things, and we'll get some stuff done and we'll leave some stuff undone and see how far we can get on this miniature. Last time I worked on this, I got a wash put on everything, which was super nice. I love how it'll bring everything tonally together. It's really satisfying to see. But there are some things that I need to go back in and refine. The skin tone, for one. I personally don't have a problem with whatever skin tone I end up getting, but this is for a commission, and I was asked to make More-athi on the paler side, and the wash darkened the skin up a bit, so I'm gonna go in and make that a bit more pale, because that's what the commissioner wanted. So we're going to make sure that the wash doesn't change that too drastically, so that it can match the rest of his Daughters of Cain army. Should be good to do. So fixing that up first, and then I will move on to things like detailing the wings and stuff like that. So this is the first thing that I'm gonna change. Hi, Anno. Good to see that insomnia has set in for you once again, and rather than sleeping at a reasonable hour, you've decided to join us. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday, or maybe it's actually crossed over into Thursday for you. Whatever day it is, or night, I hope that you're having a good one. It's always good to see you here. Although, I have to admit, it did do me some good to see that you'd missed a couple of streams, because it meant that probably you were sleeping. And I could take some solace in the fact that maybe, just maybe, you had, in fact, acquired a healthy sleep schedule. So don't spoil the illusion for me. I'd like to believe that you're doing well on that frontier. Tonight I'm just working on More-athi, getting her closer and closer to a finished product. And then once she's done, I'll feel a lot better about things. because I have owed her to my friend for quite some time. And I want to start knocking out all of the things that I owe, because they sit with me and they bug me, and I feel bad about not having finished them yet. So this is one I want to get done. I really liked how the skin tone ended up after the wash personally, but my commissioner asked for paler skin, so I have to go and tone that differently. It's actually kind of cool. It's getting like this almost bluish undertone, which I think works really well with the wings too, so I'm pleased about that. I think I might try and do some makeup on her as well, because she has a fairly large face. I've never tried to do any kind of makeup on a model before, but I think her face is large enough that I could make some very basic lipstick work. So I think I might try that. And then like maybe some eyeshadow or something like that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just tooling around with all the details. It's finally time to start doing the fun stuff as opposed to all of the really labor-intensive base coating. I like when I can just kind of fiddle, I guess, would be the best word for what I'll be doing now. Lots and lots of fiddling around until I get it right. But I'll see if I can get the eyes to go. And I think that'll be a good detail if I can manage it. Yeah, those look alright. Probably won't do anything fancier to them, because I'd hate to mess up an eye after doing a pretty okay job on it. See, I think, you know, she might have like some eyeliner or something going on. She seems like the type. Very fancy lady. Maybe just add in a touch of something. I don't wear makeup personally, so I don't know the exact trends that I gotta be aware of, or what would or wouldn't make sense, but I'm gonna just try and give her a little bit of like blue, I think would be good, and then maybe just a tiny bit of blush on her cheeks to make them look a little bit alive and hopefully kind of, you know, add to the fanciness factor. We're trying. It's hard when you don't pay makeup on yourself to suddenly be like, I gotta do this on a miniature. But, you know, try things here. Hope that they work. So just a tiny little dab is enough to get a little bit of a tonal variant, and I think maybe the inside of the ears can be done that way too. Just adding in a little bit of pink. It's called Elven Flesh, so it does work out kind of well. Yeah, I'm happy enough with how that looks. Now I gotta see if I can recreate it on even smaller More-athi. How's life been treating you, Anno? How you been? Oh, it seems like Discord is having an error with my connection. Not Discord, YouTube. I know what I'm talking about. I'll see if I can get that fixed. Just give me 1 second to finish blending that skin in here. I will take a look at that. See what I can do. just a minute. Okay. See if starting and stopping a good old droid cam will get that back in working order. Hopefully it will. It usually does. It should anyway. If I have to, I can refresh the page and stuff like that. But I'm hoping that the connection will work itself out and be okay. Usually it does. I don't think anything here is storming hard enough that it would make that much of a difference on a stream, but maybe. It's possible, although unlikely. Probably won't put half as much detail into smaller face because I'm not as confident I can pull it off well. So this one might just stick with basics to look completed, you know, and the bigger one is really where the detail is going to be. I think that's fair. I'm going to try refreshing this page. Just give me 1 second. I'm not sure if that's going to start everything over or if I'll be able to continue. I think it's going to let me continue. But I'm hoping by refreshing that, the connection will improve a little bit. So I apologize if it's a bit fuzzy right now. Doing my best. Just painting the eyes in. It's one of those things that's so easy to mess up. I almost always do. These eyes didn't turn out too bad. Doing good. Some tests on Tuesday. All right, all right. Hopefully those go well for you. You ace them. Hi, Josh. Welcome. Hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. I'm gonna call that good enough for the face. That one eye's not perfect, but it's something we can live with, I think. Mike, if you're watching this, I did everything perfect on the first try. And never once was like, any detail is too small for me to address or fix or repair. But everybody else, yes, everything is a time based on how much I was paid to do this and, you know, what my actual ability and skill level is to fix. I think if I went in and tried to make that face perfect, I would end up doing a lot more damage than anything positive. So that's why that's going to live the way that it does. I'm going to have a lot of fun, I think, with bringing this lilac into this dress, kind of livening it back up to a full and beautiful purple, while retaining that deeper shading in the recesses. I think it'll look great. I'm not going to worry about making little mistakes here and there, because they'll happen, and that's okay. As long as it looks mostly good in the end. I don't think it's anything that anyone's going to be super mad about. At least I hope it's not anything that anyone's going to be super mad about. And if it is, well, I'll live with those consequences, I think. I'll figure it out. In the end, there are aspects of things that I'm able to do well. There's still things that I need to learn how to do, learn how to improve on for next time. This model has definitely been one outside of my comfort zone, so a lot to be learned from that. Mainly, I think my takeaway is, while I find it fun to paint outside of my comfort zone, I need to not accept huge projects outside of my comfort zone as first projects to take on. I think if this had just been painting Little More-athi, I might have enjoyed it more. And that enjoying my hobby is an important aspect of it. How much do you charge for commissions you're sort of working out your rates? That is a great question. I don't intend on taking anymore, if I'm honest. So this one, I was in a situation where I definitely needed money, and my friend was being very helpful. But I charged $265 to paint both this More-athi and Little More-athi, because I tried to factor in about how many hours it would be, and I wanted to be paid at least $10 an hour for painting stuff. I grossly undercalculated how many hours it was going to take me to paint More-athi, because I was kind of basing it off like bigger orc vehicles that I'd painted, but that's fine. I like to think that I paint fairly quickly under most circumstances, but this has truly been something that it's not a commission I feel I shouldn't have taken. Like, I don't regret it because I did need the money at the time, and this model has taught me a lot about what I do and don't like to paint. But it's, if another person asked me to paint another More-athi right now, I would say no. This is, I think, the only More-athi that I want to paint. I don't think this model is really one, like, it's not one that I would have picked up, and it doesn't particularly strike me with, like, a strong sense of inspiration, and I didn't value or realize how important that was to enjoying my process until I was working with a model that I didn't have that same, like, connection to. So that's kind of interesting. Details sure do take their time, and we've only just gotten started. Frankly, I can't remember if my friend asked me to base this for him or not. I think that he did, so I'm going to do a very quick basing, like, basing, paste, wash sort of deal on the bases. Because I know I'm going to sink way too much time into finishing up all details to make everything look nice. So yeah, but tonight painting some fabric, you know, it's supposed to be like a shiny, nice dress, I would think. Maybe I'll add a little blood stain here or there just because, I don't know, she seems to have been at war, so having some blood on her dress seems like it would make sense. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? I just hope that in the end my commissioner is like, yeah, I feel like what I paid was worth it for the work that you did. I want to feel like I'm doing my best work, but it's a lot of things that I don't typically paint, so it might not reflect, I might not like the final product as much as I like some of the other things that I painted. Hopefully that's still fine. Yeah, being picky about doing them. I think that's fair if you're not really sure if you want to do commissions. I think when you're passionate about a project or it's something that you've done before and are confident with, it's probably going to show through in your final product. Like, for other models that I have to paint, I have a friend who likes to assemble stuff, and as is well documented on this channel, I don't much like to assemble, so he doesn't like to paint, which is insanity to me, but I guess it's as much of a slog to paint a mini to him as it is to assemble one for me, so in exchange for assembling some of my minis, I agreed to paint some of his, but he's very free form with what he wants, and he wants me to paint orcs for him, so you know that's a different can of worms, because I'm pretty confident in knowing how to paint orcs. I've done that a time or two before. We'll do it likely a time or two again. So orcs are welcome here. And I would probably agree to paint a Zote if anybody was like, hey, paint this Zote for me. I'd love to get my hands on one of like the old Zotes. I feel like that would be pretty fun. But so far, no one's come out of the woodwork offering me both money and Zotes, so I might have to wait on that. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, we are our hardest critics, and I was actually reading something on the internet once that said writers are always going to hate their work for a while because it will always sound like they wrote it. And the thing is, you're never gonna get your own work to stop looking like you did it, or looking or sounding like you wrote it. And I think that is what I hated about my own writing for the longest time. Not that it was bad, or that my stories were basic, or anything like that. And certainly it was riddled with spelling errors, but those never bothered me in a first draft. But I would hate everything just because it sounds like I was saying it. So I think it can be hard to accept that, yes, your work does look like you did it, but that's because it's, you know, it's your work. It's supposed to look like you did it. Coming to terms with that is difficult. How did the towel go that I didn't want to get? They're all assembled. Oh no, they're sitting right here. This pile of plastic right in front of me. That's all the towel that I wasn't gonna buy. I assembled the whole thing in like 2 days. I haven't primed them yet, but I'm going to. I just need to get some blue tack to hold them to temporary bases. Because Kraz, who you may know from our fantastic Discord server, is a very talented 3D printer and is going to help me 3D print some really fun bases or base toppers or something for these guys. So I'm very excited about how that's going to go. Can't wait. Hi, Morgan. Stark reminder that your Shadow Queen has been waiting to have her mandibles finished for 6 months. Listen, this isn't taken 6 months yet, but it's taken more time than I told my commissioner that it would. Mainly because I hadn't really expected all of the shit that happened to me to happen. Thank you, Hector, for chiming in. I know, I'm finishing it now. Does that count for nothing, sir? Apparently in Hector's world that counts for nothing. So am I gonna paint them like a hive gang? Like a hive gang you mean for like Necromunda? Undecided. I think it would be fun to use them in Necromunda if like I knew how to and had rules for that and stuff. But actually, I got a decent tax return, not gonna lie to you, happy with that. So I might just buy a Necromunda gang and then paint some flesh eater core. I don't know if they're core like the core of an apple or quartz like Gesture's Court. Hector knows the right one, but he's refusing to tell me. But he's laughing like, haha, I know what's right and you don't, but I won't tell you. Which makes me feel that Hector doesn't know which one is right. But he's going to pretend like he does. He has sauntered off into the kitchen to look for snacks. I promise he'll probably come back and we can catch him on camera and have a nice, cute little, oh my gosh, your cats are adorable moment. Because I love sharing those with you. Truly, I do. And don't listen to him. Once again, as always, I fill the cat's bowls before I turn on the camera. So don't let him fool you. It'd be really nice if I were able to finish these tonight. I don't think I'm gonna have the time, but I'm hoping. I said to my commissioner that I was gonna have More-athi done by the end of the month. And whatever state she's in, Lord willing, she is going to be done by the end of the month, because I just need to accomplish this and get it done and move on to the next thing. It's been sitting around making me feel guilty about myself for too long. And I have one other big project, but that's digital art that I have to do for someone. And that's the other thing that's been sitting around for too long. I need to finish. But I feel like once I finish those, I'll have a couple of orcs to paint for my friend who did the assembly, but they don't weigh on me so heavily. You watched a game of Necromunda and a heavy guy failed the ammo roll for his heavy bolter in turn 1. Kind of put me off. Imagine him being picked on back at gang camp, like guy who either forgot ammo or didn't take care of his equipment. Your cats? Well, why are you pacing back and forth for? They probably wouldn't be watching you if you weren't pacing. You're making them nervous. Making them nervous. I always tell Hector when he's trying to he's just walking all over me before bed and he hasn't picked a spot to lay down. I'm always like, settle, baby, just settle. Cats just want you to settle in one spot. And then when you want them to settle, they won't do it. New development in the fact that my house may or may not be haunted, for those ghost watchers out there. Or just people vaguely concerned that maybe I purchased a haunted house. I don't know. I haven't met any ghosts, but there's certainly room for one here. Lobster has scratched at the walls twice. Now, there is wood paneling everywhere, and he may just need something to sink his wee claws into. But if he's trying to claw a ghost out, I have vague concerns. So, yeah. I mean, nothing supremely cursed has happened yet. We haven't seen any ghosts. Nothing's gone missing, to my knowledge. But, yeah. Could be something in the walls, according to Lobster. You weren't invested, but you are now? Yeah, I mean, I purchased a very strange... It's not strange. It's just old. It's an older house. It's got some design choices that made it super cheap for me to buy. And in the housing market, the way that it currently is, that was great. But, like, there's carpet in the kitchen. Like, that's just the flooring in the kitchen, which is a very cursed choice. And frankly, just no. Absolutely fucking not. So I'm working on getting that changed. Need the steps to win a challenge at work. Okay, that's fair. Couldn't tell you the last time I did any kind of, like, exercise challenge sort of dealing. Which probably means I never did. I think a little bit of a pink dry brush on those scales, and maybe some pink highlights in the hair will make it look good. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Used to live in the servants' quarters of a super old house and had a friendly ghost. Yeah, that seems the way of it. I have this internet friend named SJ who's, like, really into hauntings and the supernatural and stuff. So, like, for their vacations, they'll go to haunted places and bring a chessboard with them, and they really want to just have a ghost want to play chess with them. So if I ever read that they've died under mysterious circumstances, I'm going to be like, yep, they finally found that ghost that they were so desperate to see, and it did them in. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. I think that may be too pink. I think we need to change that to a reddish. We need a lighter red. I know it's already red, but it needs to be, you know, highlighted a bit. And that's just too pink. And it was a sore loser. Exactly. Exactly. That red doesn't really look all too great on those scales either. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, so I need to find something that's gonna keep it looking red, you know, not change it to pink. That's a common problem that people have with red. But I can't let it get dusty either. So we may just live with it with the pink, or live with it the way that it is. I could stand to live with it, you know, like this. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. Just want it to look as good as it can. But I don't have the patience to highlight each scale individually. So maybe just like a little bit. A lighter dry brushing of pink might work. I just don't want to turn it from a red, like, tail into a pink one. That's what I gotta be. Highlight red with orange? We could try orange. Could try an orange dry brush. Get a little bit more pink in here. We'll try some orange. I'm sure I got a red orange or a pure orange in here. We'll see how that goes. That could work. Let's see. Yellow. Got like this orange, Tal Light Ochre. I guess that's ochre and not orange. I think I got Troll Slayer orange back here. Should it be like a bright orange, you think? Super bright. Because I got Troll Slayer orange. And I've also got another orange. The Wild Rider red might work. That's like an orangey red. I think we'll try that. Yeah. Yeah, Wild Rider red. We got that one. Fuck yeah. Oh, yep, absolutely. That's gonna be dope. Why did I look through these colors before? Good call, Josh. Good call. Dry brushing. The fun part is you get to waste most of the paint on your skin, on a piece of paper towel. Frankly, if I don't come away from my painting table covered in different colors, did I have a painting session? Is there any proof that that happened? Oh, yeah. Yep. That was the call. MVP of the night, Josh, for realizing that Wild Rider red was the direction to go for this dry brush. That was absolutely correct. You are a champion, a gentleman, and a scholar. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. That's just what the doctor ordered. It's probably too subtle to be picked up on camera, but it is just catching the tips of the scales beautifully. And this color can also be because my commissioner wants the symbols to glow and have kind of like a magic effect. that her little belly scales have, so this will be a good color to do all the glowies in. Paper towel or human skin. Oh, look at mess. Mess is made by me. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I will wash my hands when this process is done and be just fine. Just absolutely fine. You really like red paint. Well, thank goodness for that. And thank you for offering your insight and advice. That was incredibly helpful. So, looks really good. Leave the spiky tip just like that, and probably dip it in a bit of that good blood for the blood god later. You were doing spray painting gigs. You judged the night by how many colors you sneezed up the next day. You must become the paint. Oh, Jesus. I was spray painting like you were doing murals or graffiti or something like that, because that's a whole different thing. I hope you had a decent mask while doing that, because that'll fuck your lungs right up. You need to keep like some baby wipes on hand or something. Jesus. I did not wash that off really well. I'm going to proceed to continue to not wash it off particularly well. I could maybe do a little bit better. Alright, we'll just set that there. And then we'll start doing the glowies. This is, it's not going as well as I would have liked it to. Trying to just get the glowiest bit into the actual recess there. That's gonna be tricky as hell. Ah, but from a distance, it looks good. That's what we need. Get a mask that would hang around your neck and you would forget to put it on. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. That's not good. Like, so much toxic about working with spray paint. It's not good for your lungs and your health. It does make for cool art though. I'll grant you that. Okay, awesome. She only has one more to do a glowy on. Maybe I'll have it kind of catch on the ridges of a couple of them. That one worked out pretty good. Just kind of do that. You have a mask, but you've never worn it. You're terrible. You're not terrible. Oh, jeez. I have 2 masks, one for toxins, one for dust. Smart. Smart, smart, smart. How are you doing, Kraz? Hope you're doing well. Kraz came up with a fun system, or was telling me about a fun system she was planning to make where she was going to make a roulette wheel of all the different projects that she has, and she could just spin it and pick what to work on that way. Seems really fun to me. Grumpy and hoping friends cheer you up. Oh, well, I hope I can help you out and cheer you up a bit. I like to think I'm pretty decently good at cheering people up. So you're welcome to hang out for as long as I'm here. There's plenty to work on this gigantic model, so hoping to, move it right along, get closer to finished. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm over it. I think I've been over it, but it ain't done yet, so onwards and upwards. Hector has his own opinions about what I should be doing with this model, as you can hear from the other room. But, comments from the peanut gallery don't need to be addressed today. Yeah, baby. Need to fix the mask. The back head strap broke. Yeah, you should definitely fix that. Anybody working with spray paint, frankly, should fix that. I'm, a bit of a hypocrite, though, because I'll go to Prime Minis with spray primer and not wear a mask at all. I was literally pouring resin on the bases of my Cruel Boys, and I was not using a mask or gloves, like a big dummy. So I did not record that for the channel. Because if I'm not going to take my own safety precautions, definitely shouldn't be encouraging other people to have a genuine lack of care and safety for stuff like that. Where you should house the master list? I don't know. I know that there are fun websites where you can put in data and then you get like a little animation of a wheel spinning and it picks one. But I don't think that they probably don't store that. But that's what I would use, because then I could see the little wheel going around and around, and that would probably be pretty fun for me. So last time I was talking about Boba Fett, the show sort of ruins the character. You think so? To be fair, and I think you did watch Boba Fett on my recommendation, or maybe you decided to because I was enthusiastic about it. I don't remember the Star Wars films very well, as I have said. So, I mean, my knowledge of Boba Fett was lacking at best. If the show ruins the character for you, I'm sorry that I directed you towards it. And you can just pretend like the show doesn't exist. You don't have to acknowledge that part of the character if you don't want to. Personally, I think it makes a cool character who hangs out with sand people and fights with a cool-ass weapon. But if that's not your version of Boba Fett and you don't like it, then just don't take it. Just ignore it. You don't have to like it. Strong emphasis this month on Boba Fett. Gee, I wonder why maybe they decided to do that. I mean, I don't know. I didn't get the, like, fascination with Boba Fett before he had the television platform to be on, because, like, from what I recall, he's not in the, doesn't do a whole lot. Like, you know, kind of goofs around trying to be a bounty hunter, and then I think his dad dies and it's sad, and then he gets eaten by that worm thing, Sarlacc. I don't know beyond that. But again, I haven't seen the movies in years. I should really go back and refresh my memory. Because it seems like more and more I'm supposed to remember things that I just don't. I know, Hector, you've never seen the Star Wars films before. We'll remedy that, baby. I'm wanting to finish the Clone Wars first. Is that such a crime? I know. We're in the shitty episodes again. None of these ones have had your boy in them. None of them have had my boy in them either. I don't really want to watch the droids have little misadventures either, but I don't know when the plot picks back up. So we're both just gonna have to wait. I know it's hard, baby. I promise. Grievous will be back, and he'll do the spider thing again that you like so much. He's just cool and mysterious. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I suppose if you just want to think of Boba Fett as, like, super mysterious, and then this is like, hey, this is who Boba Fett, like, actually is and what he actually does, that could ruin it for you. Although, frankly, watching tiny baby Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, like, try and, you know, be a bounty hunter is painful. Hector is such a Star Wars fanboy. He really is. He thinks the Sith are really cool. And I'm gonna have him make a Star Wars RPG character. Like, I'm just gonna put all the options on little cards and have him kind of choose from them, because I think it would be cute and dumb. And then I will draw or make models of Hector and I's Star Wars RPG characters, so you can see what we come up with. I'll see if Lobster want to make one too, but he's not really a Star Wars guy. He's not been very fast. He's not been impressed, to say the least. I just don't think sci-fi is Lobster's genre. He loves a good period drama, though. Put some Downton Abbey or Gentleman Jack on, and yep, that'll be me and Lobster. Don't worry, we're out of queer period dramas at the moment, so you're good, Hector. You don't have to suffer through them. You know, the sad part is, heck, I know there won't be any queer romance stories in the Clone Wars. That's very unlikely. You'd think Star Wars would have some representation with all of its vast iterations, but I can't remember that it does. It should get some, though. I know people were talking about, in the newer movies, they wanted Finn and Poe to have been a thing, and I think that would have been really cute. It's kind of a shame that didn't work out. It's a dangerous path to go down, Kraz, learning about the Star Wars universe. I didn't expect to be going through a Star Wars phase. But goddamn, I got into The Mandalorian, and they made that Baby Yoda so compelling that I had to find out, and now here I am, consuming the media. Listen, period dramas full of unrequited pining and love and just beautiful landscapes and scenery. I live for that stuff. I love it. It's so good. Like, I don't really connect with Jane Austen's, like, work as a writer or anything, but, like, the mood, that's a whole thing. I love a good heroine. I love some brooding every now and again. It can just be fun. I mean, even Del Toro kind of dipped his toes into the waters of period drama with Crimson Peak. He kind of kept it more to the horror side of things, as he is naturally wont to do. But you know, that was kind of like a mood for a little while. That lovely dance scene, costumes, love me a good costume. And Downton Abbey was fun. I binged all of that. I am picky though. I haven't watched Bridgerton, and I don't currently have a Hulu subscription, so I mean to watch the second season of The Great. But I haven't done that yet, just for lack of subscription. But that's on my list to get back to when I decide that I'm gonna purchase Hulu again, which will inevitably happen. I like to rotate through, you know. But since I have a ungodly number of Clone Wars episodes to go through, I don't feel very compelled to purchase another streaming service right now. Someone was kind enough to point me in the direction of the first episode of The Exodite on Warhammer Plus. Whether or not I purchased a Warhammer Plus subscription, I will not say, because for legal reasons, everything that I say for the rest of time is a joke. But if I were to give my opinion on the first episode of The Exodite, I would say, as a series opener, unsure. As, like, the opening cutscene for a video game, I would play the video game. But it's only like 10 minutes, so I don't think they used that 10 minutes to the best of their ability. I'm hoping that the rest of the series is good. It has potential, and the animation does look very nice. It looks very nice. You need to finish the second season of The Great. Yeah, I haven't even started. But it's fun. It's interesting. I remember liking the first season. Nicholas Hoult plays such a sinister little asshole. It's exactly how you felt, Rob. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one who felt that way about the Exodite. I'm expecting, you know, when stuff happens and they're kind of coming into the atmosphere from space, I'm expecting, like, my controllers start vibrating. I'm expecting some quick time events, but no. It was a really nice video game intro cutscene. Exactly. It makes me definitely feel like whoever the animator was who got started on that project was not intending to release it in an episodic format. I don't think it's meant to have cuts. That's just my opinion. And, like, obviously I can't say for sure because I haven't watched it, but, like, if that is on the, like, it very much depends on how the next few episodes go, but it seems like there wasn't meant to be a cut where there is a cut. I'm willing to bet that that's what's happening. That they're cutting it up into multiple episodes. And even if maybe it was intended to be like 2 30-minute episode or 4 20-minute episodes or something like that, it certainly wasn't the first episode. I don't think it was meant as just a 10-second video game trailer intro for what is a show and not a video game. But they're doing things to establish characters. Like, it's minimal, but it's there. They do have a little bit of banter going on. Um, like, it would be great. It would be great if I was playing the video game that came on after that cutscene. I would be really excited. But obviously, that's not the case. Oh, okay, cool, Morgan. You plan on watching that after this? Definitely give it a watch. I would certainly say it's worth a watch. There's really no spoilers to give because I just don't know enough about what's gonna happen. But I won't give any specifics. Just because I hate when anything's spoiled for me. So yeah. All of the highlights. Will I go back and touch up the blue in the wings? I should. I will. I'm committing to it now. That'll happen. And maybe touch up some of the gold. Will that be the end, besides basing? Hopefully. Hopefully it will. I guess I need to paint in some of the gems, too. Maybe do something on the snakes. Yep, I'm just finding more work for myself to do. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord Fives, what you doing? What you doing to your poor self? Making stuff look cool. That's the real answer. Found yourself weirdly invested in the Blood Angel show? I have not watched the Blood Angel show. Is that Hammer and Bolter? Is it Angels of something? I can't remember what they called it. I know I had seen the title, but hadn't checked it out myself. Not big on the old Space Marines, so I'm not surprised that I didn't settle in with that one. Or like see a trailer for it and go, ah, this is, I gotta see what's happening here with these Marines. But if it's good, that's awesome. There's, I feel like there's a shortage of good media, and everybody has a different opinion on what they consider good. Clearly, because I really enjoyed Book of Boba Fett, and other people did not. Which is valid and cool. I like when people have different opinions. And there's a lot of people who really enjoy the Clone Wars, and I keep being like, this is extremely hit or miss. And I can't say whether or not it's worth my time, because I haven't finished it yet. But if I were recommending this series to anyone, I would tell them to just go ahead and skip season 1. Because nothing that's set up is essential, and everybody's competing to see who can make me lose my patience the most. Angels of something? Yeah, that seems about right. I vaguely remember there being a title like Angels of something. And that's about all I remember. Angels of Death, maybe? I don't know, that feels too... It feels too pulpy and generic, but then again, this is Warhammer that we're talking about. You're on the fixation that the difference between Grimdark you like and Grimdark you dislike is characters who care about one another. Yeah, that's super valid, because, like, if you're gonna have a Grimdark universe, the thing is, the universe is supposed to be grimdark, but, like, the people don't have to be complete douchebags to each other all of the time. What am I gonna highlight that dark blue with? What we got in terms of blues? Could bring back the regular blue. Crag blue? I think I used the Fang for the base blue, so I don't know if McCrag's the right choice, but we can give it a try. I think McCrag may have been a Space Marine of some note. This is my entire knowledge of the subject. Or maybe McCrag was a planet? There was a Battle of McCrag. believe that battle was fought against the Tyranids in a snowy landscape. I remember that because someone challenged Goobertown Hobbies to make a diorama, and he was like, "I know the Battle of McCrag." I was like, "I don't, but you go. You tell me about that battle." Yeah, so I don't really know how these wings are gonna end up. You heard Mando is in the second half of Boba Fett. Anybody who cares about Boba Fett spoilers should temporarily mute their computer, because I will either confirm or deny this rumor. And I will do so now. Yes, that is correct. Mando is in the second half of Book of Boba Fett. And the best episodes of Book of Boba Fett are ones that are just episodes of The Mandalorian that are like a season 2.5. Honestly, there's some really wonderful and charming stuff that happens. And that's the part of Book of Boba Fett that I truly, really enjoyed the most. End of spoilers. But I suppose anybody who muted wouldn't know that we had finished talking about spoilers. I don't imagine too many people muted, though, considering I think I only have about 3 or 4 people who are concurrent viewers, which is perfectly fine. But it does mean I'm not going to worry too much. Hopefully, if anybody is watching this back, they had an opportunity to mute. I gave Apple opportunity. I think we did all right. I think adding that bright blue in the ridges, that should be enough. That should be enough of a something that happens, and I can add that in along the scales. Not to like clean anything up, but just to add some variation, I think, which will look good. I don't know if I'll do it on the underside of the wings as well. See about that happening or not happening, but the Book of Mando is better. Yep, absolutely. 100%. That's the part that I liked. Although, I mean, I do love Tusken Raiders. I think that they're cool. I was considering seeing if Tusken Raiders were a race that you could be in the Star Wars RPG. But I'm pretty settled on an Ithorian. I just think they're cool. They're weird. I sketched a few today as potential characters, and I liked what I drew, so that's what we're gonna go with. Now you paint orcs. BRB, a third print is done. Woo, yes. Getting those prints accomplished. Hell yeah. Awesome. Always looks like I have some sort of horrible wound whenever I'm painting red, because it'll rub off on my hand and then I'll just, like, if only I'd known about Blood for the Blood God paint as a kid, all the injuries I might have been able to fake. Get myself out of PE class all the time. What Star Wars system am I playing? None currently, but someone invited me to a group, and I believe they're using, it's like, I want to say it's the Final Fantasy system, but I know it's not actually called that, but the word fantasy is in it. I'd have to check. But if you know enough about the Star Wars RPG to know which one is the not Final Fantasy system, it's that one. It's the one with the word fantasy in it. I've never played before, and I'm a little intimidated. And I keep thinking maybe I shouldn't be an Ithorian musician, and maybe I should make a more serious character who's like, But I'm like, if I'm gonna do Fantasy Flight, that's what it is. Yep. See, I knew you guys would know. There's Olivia even who talked to me about all the different various systems. But yes, Fantasy Flight, that's the one. But yeah, I got invited to join a group, and I will be making like actually rolling and making the character sheet somewhat soon, I think. But I wanted to have like an idea of what I wanted to make and what I wanted their personality to be. Um, so yeah, we'll try that out. I think it would be really fun to just be like a comic relief character almost, because I feel like there's a good mix of action and comedy with Star Wars, but I don't know how well that'll translate to a RPG system. So could be fun to see how that works out. I'll go a bit Bill and Ted with the whole thing, I think. Just have some big old space alien being like, "Yeah, Darth Vader is so totally bogus, man." I think that could be fun. Um, that's not dumb. It's something. It's an idea. Good, bad, or otherwise is yet to be determined. I gotta decide what style of music this theoretical Ithorian musician is gonna play. Not the style that they play in the cantina, because everybody likes to go, "Hey, do you know what that style of music from Star Wars is called?" And I'm like, I don't always remember offhand, but I know it's got a dumb, stupid name, and then they tell me, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I believe Tusken Raiders are a playable species, but you can't remember in which book. Something in one of the Edge of Empire supplements, probably. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the group I'm going to be playing in said there were like 90 playable races that you could be, and I think Ewok and one other one were the only two that he was like, please do not play as these ones. But maybe it was Jawa was the other one. But it wasn't. It wasn't Tusken Raider. Ewok was another race that I'd been considering because I just like them. I think they're cool. But there's so many to choose from. So many. If I decide to go on the serious side, I'll just embrace my enjoyment of side characters from the Clone Wars, and I'll make a little Darth Morian Zadok, I think is what they're called. The guys that Darth Maul is. I'll just make one of those. They're pretty cool. I'm still overly invested in that storyline, even when I know it's like a side storyline at best. But the thing is, it has potential. They're not gonna do anything with Savage Opress. Like, I can feel that because they named him that way, and he's not gonna get the development or screen time or nuance that I want so bad for this character to have. I don't know why. I mean, I know I could explain why, but A, no one cares, and B, like, it's the fucking Clone Wars, and he's a bad guy, so he's gonna just, be a bad guy. And that's fine. It's a kid's show, and I need to stop overreach. But, like, this is the side character that I've latched onto, and I can't help it. Sometimes I just find things interesting. What you gonna do about it? Zabrak, that's what it is. Yeah. You wanna play as Dexter Jester. I don't know who that is. Josh, I do not know that particular character. Or species. There's an unofficial fan supplement that stats out pretty much every species ever shown that didn't make it into the act. That's impressive. Fans of Star Wars really are dedicated. That's what I'll say. They are dedicated. But you know what? that's fine. As long as, the fan base doesn't get out of control towards me, I'll be pretty happy with whatever. I'll be pretty chill with whatever. I ain't gonna worry my little head about it. I got bigger problems in my life. Yeah, it's 50s style diner in the prequels. You just want to run a space diner? Hell yeah. There was a brief scene where my boy, Savage Opress, was in a diner, and he beat someone up in that diner, which was unfortunate. But I was like, what this man really needs is a diner. He just needs, like, some waffles and a milkshake on the house. Like, just give this guy a fucking break. There's some poor droid or something running that diner who, like, the Jedi come in and they're like, LOL, someone got beat up in your diner. He's like, yeah, we get a pretty rough crowd, but I'm glad you guys are here. I'm not going to have you look into this situation at all. It just happens. But I'm also going to give you free food. Like, why? The coffers of the Republic seem endless. Like, they bribe Hondo like every other episode. They're blowing through spaceships. Like, no wonder they're in debt to the little banking clan. Amidala has to clean up their financial messes every 3 seconds because nobody there has ever had to call an insurance company. Whoever the space insurance agents are, they're making bank off this war because Jedi are not responsible about their equipment or upkeep or anything like that. They just blow through spaceships. They do dumb like, has Anakin ever gotten behind the wheel of a spaceship and had it not blow up by the end of an arc? He gets very attached to droids, sure, like, if something happens to R2, he's willing to, go to the ends of the earth. But ships, no affection for them. At least my boy, the Mandalorian, like, he loves his Razor Crest something fierce. The same cannot be said for any of the Jedi in their ships. Jedi are not responsible. It's pretty much the theme of the prequel era. Yeah, they're not. They commit so many war crimes so casually. And I know there's no Space Geneva Convention, but, like, guys, you are literally training so many child soldiers with these Jedi younglings, and they get involved in, like, a battle. At one point, I recently finished the arc, and it was lovely because David Tennant was there as a droid, and that was pretty fun. Not gonna lie. That was exciting. But, like, these little baby Jedis, first of all, you just throw them into this cave and you're like, go find your magic crystal or whatever. And, like, I'm like, that's kind of sketch. Okay. You should at least... It's fine. Sure. Okay. Like, whatever. I'll live with it because I can't really do anything about it. But then their ship gets boarded by pirates and and Anakin and Obi-Wan get caught up in a sudden war before they can send help. But instead of just radioing, like, the Galactic Council or another, they don't call in, like, Kit Fisto or Mace Windu or somebody else who's just chilling and has a bunch of time to go rescue the literal children on their ship from the pirates. They're just like, nah, they're just gonna have to figure that out themselves. Like, I'm sorry, sir, what? Excuse me? They're already, like, Jedi younglings. We're having a shortage of them. No, fuck you are. You're just sending them to their deaths all the time. It's ridiculous. Anakin has Jedi money paying for his ships. Mando is a working class guy that takes pride in his property. Ain't that the fucking truth? Anakin's one of those little kids who never had to work. Well, I guess I can't say he never had to work retail, but he forgot what it was like to work retail the moment he got money. Meanwhile, Mando's had to deal with his fucking bounty hunters guild, and the customer service has gotta be shit. Like, you just know that Mando has had to navigate a phone tree where it happily tells him that he can, like, access his account online while the website is down, and he's had to wait on hold for, like, over 15 minutes, but he's still polite about it because he's just like, yeah, whatever, I need to get my bounty hunter's insurance or whatever he's got to do. He's got to register his child for school. Anakin ain't never had to go through that shit. That boy has no patience either. The Jedi are supposed to, like, be, like, you know, patient and understanding or something, or not emotional. But honestly, the most emotional people in that show, fucking Anakin Skywalker and then Obi-Wan. No one can say anything without Obi-Wan saying something sassy right back to them 3 seconds later. Like, goddamn, man, I get it. That's your whole personality, but, like, you do not control your outbursts or emotions at all. The only time you do that is in a scene where you then look at Anakin and tell him to do that. I ain't gonna read that comment out, Josh, but I don't think you're wrong in terms of the personality that Anakin Skywalker would have. That seems pretty accurate. He's getting to the point where he's annoying the shit out of me, and I'm actively enjoying any episodes that Anakin Skywalker is not in. They're actually trying to, like, do stuff with Ventress's character now, too, which is kind of interesting. I thought she was just kind of going to be, like, a throwaway after, like, oh, I failed Dooku, like, 4 times, and he's just going to kill me, but, you know. Do as I say, not as I do is also the Jedi way. Yeah. I would like Yoda to, like, step up and get his boys in line, because seriously, man, like, you are just lax as hell. And how did we have no repercussion for Palm Krell, I think it was, who just was, like, horrible to all of those clones, and then was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm working as a separatist. That, you know, I feel like we should have addressed that. Talk to someone about our feelings about that a little bit, maybe? Okay? I had some feelings about that. But we didn't talk about that. Also, that was just allowed to happen in the Jedi-osphere. Ventress is pretty badass, and you wish she'd gotten a solo series. I don't know if I could tolerate an entire solo series about her. But I'll be honest, I don't think I could take that. Because I mean, I haven't seen her full and complete arc, but I like her better now that she's broken away from just being Dooku's lackey. She's definitely cooler now. Yeah, more and more that seems to be the way of it. And I don't know if that was the point either. Like, again, I have to say, I don't remember the movies very well. So I don't know if I'm just reading too much into this, or if there's actually, like, supposed to be that much problematic with the Jedi. Because I can't freaking remember anything. I need to go back and watch the films. But I haven't done it yet. Figure I'll finish the Clone Wars. That way, at least, my opinion of the Clone Wars will be pretty authentic. And if I'm supposed to remember that someone's evil and I forget, then it'll be a surprise to me, which is a lot of fun. That can be a fun plot ignorance for me. But anyway, what I'm saying, though, is, like, even though everybody carved Palm Krell out to be a bad guy, which he was, everybody else is just as lax with clone lives all of the time. And they don't get half the flack for it. Like, clones die constantly, and I think that's probably, like, you know, justified as being, it's their purpose. It's what the Republic crafted them to be able to do. But they're still, like, guys with personalities and childhoods and stuff like that. That I you know, doesn't sit too great with me. Sit too great. I mean, saying it doesn't sit too great with me is strong. I feel like that's something that maybe the Jedi should address, should look at, should consider. Big part of Clone Wars is Dave Filoni going back and indirectly calling out the Jedi and Republic on their crap after Lucas phoning it in on the prequels. Fair enough. Fair enough. Jedi were written unironically as the good guy. Okay, cool. Because that's kind of how I remember the Jedi being portrayed. Like, definitely as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, the Jedi are just super cool. And I don't know if I'm just like, oh man, I have some religious trauma and stuff in my past. Maybe I'm just, like, reading into this a bit too much. No, that's correct. Okay, that's cool. Also, you know, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with making a movie where it's just like, you know, the bad guys are just evil, and that's kind of period, end of story. But like if you, because there's, you know, movies have a time limit, but with Clone Wars, like they're taking all the time to flesh out like their villains' backstories and things like that. So there's reasons to empathize with them and to see, you know, what's kind of going on. So I think it's good that the director is taking the time to also show that the Jedi are very flawed as well. I think a few characters even mention it directly that, you know, the Republic has as many problems as the Separatists do. Which is cool. I like that. And, you know, it's just interesting. It's a different take on things. Yeah, Ahsoka is really questioning the Jedi Council a lot. I have picked up on that. She looks like she's about to pop off on them at any minute, and honestly, I would just be there hyping my girl up. She should do it, and I hope that she does. But I'm, you know, I'm on the arc that's just R2-D2 and some other droids and this little tiny frog man running a mission. And I'm sorry, but that is boring as hell. I like R2-D2, but this arc is painful. It's as bad as the episodes where it's just about Jar Jar Binks doing something. Like, I'm bored. And I'm not a child, and I'm not watching this week by week. But again, if I was a child, or I was watching this week by week, I definitely would have bailed by now. Because if my like, reward for making it through and waiting for the next episode to come out was a fucking Jar Jar episode, like, no. That's a betrayal. I ain't watching that shit. I mean, I'm doing it now because I can just binge through it. That's when I'm just on my lovely Discord server, which I have now and should post a link to for anyone who hasn't joined up. If you see me replying to messages, I'm probably on a boring episode of the Clone Wars. Because I find that boring episodes are a really good time to get caught up on all the lovely posts that people are making in there. Also, I'm chronically online, so I'm maybe using the Clone Wars as a bit of a crutch, but, you know, whatever works. Whatever works. I think I pulled that sentence together in the end. Pulled those thoughts together in the end. It worked. I ain't mad about it. No judgment here. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all have been really not judgy, which has been really cool. I want so bad to just, like, find another series that I have no association with, like Star Trek, for instance. I've never watched a single episode of any of the Star Treks at all. I watched the one Star Trek movie with Chris Pine in it because my friend was going to see it, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But that's literally my only exposure to Star Trek. I'd love to just go through and episode by episode catalog my entire thoughts on a series. I think that would be really fun to go into something as culturally relevant as Star Trek, as blind to it as I am, and just see what I think of it. But I feel like there's a lot that just isn't gonna hold up. You usually find the Star Wars fandom more interesting than Star Wars, like, the product. That's fair. I mean, I find the Warhammer community more interesting than Warhammer as a storytelling franchise. And I know that's not exactly the same, but I feel like at least there's a similar sentiment there. And that just because we're inspired by the same material doesn't mean that the material itself is perfect without flaws or even good. So as a okay, Olivia, but you'd have to tell me where to get started with Star Trek. Like what, because I know there's Star Trek The Next Generation. People argue about who the best Star General is, whether it's Kirk or Picard or a third option. I don't remember who the other one is. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If I were getting into Star Trek today, I would just watch whatever the latest one is that, like, HBO or whatever the shit is making, because Doug Jones is playing one of the aliens, and I love Doug Jones, so I'm probably going to enjoy whatever alien he's dressing up as this week. You love Star Trek Next Gen and a bit of Deep Space Nine. If you do, you'd recommend starting with The Next Generation, then going back to the original series or the later shows. It's sort of the anchor reference point the later shows come back to. Okay. So Star Wars The Next Gen seems to be the place to get started. Because I dream of having... I don't dream of having. I think of having sometimes a YouTube channel where I just talk about movies and TV shows and stuff, which has become what my live streams are anymore, and I apologize. I should probably be, like, instructing people about how to paint stuff or something. I don't actually know. And then, like, people would be like, oh, you could just do that as a podcast. But to me, a podcast is scripted. It's episodic. It's written. It is an audio drama. It's not just a person talking. But to everybody else and their fucking mom, podcasts are just a person talking. So maybe that's what I should do. I should just have a podcast where it is me watching media I've never seen before and giving my honest opinion about it. But I feel like that's a niche that's probably already well full of other people. And I don't know if my perspective is unique enough to warrant making anything out of it. But I suppose I could do it. I don't know. Discovery with Doug Jones is excellent, but it really works well to know the other shows. Yeah, I thought that might be the case. Kind of hard to make something like, I don't know, a million years after the original aired, and it's been so... Like, you know, I think even with the Clone Wars, where that is very much like you could sit a kid down who has never seen Star Wars before and they could watch Clone Wars, the show is kind of made with the knowledge of Star Wars in mind. You got mad when did I say Star Wars The Next Generation? I'm so sorry. I know it's Star Trek The Next Generation. If I misspoke, that's just because I have Star Wars on the brain. First two seasons of Next Gen are rough. Very 80s. I watched the first 2 seasons of the Clone Wars, Olivia. I can get through some shit if I am bored enough. I can get through some shit if I am bored enough. Although, I need to fucking finish Jujutsu Kaisen after Clone Wars because I need to know what happens. And I've fallen behind on all of my animes for Star Wars, and I honestly don't know if that was the best or worst sacrifice to make. Sorry, I know it's Star Trek The Next Generation. I didn't mean to say Star Wars. I misspoke, okay? See, this is exactly why I hesitate to do anything like this. Because there are people who will come after me. The first 2... Oh, God. Okay. Then that's gonna be a trial and a half. And I guess I should just enjoy the good parts of the Clone Wars while I can. I don't think Savage Opress in his next encounter, whenever he shows up again, I don't think he's gonna make it past the end of that arc. I don't know for a fact, of course. I'm just going off what I would do if I were the writer of him, and this is the material that I had to work with. I mean, I would have written his entire story differently if you had put me at the reins of it, because I'm just me, and that's fine. But he did literally lose an arm last time, and I think Darth Maul was kind of like, you're gonna be my apprentice. You're not my brother anymore. Which sucks. Like, nobody will just be this guy's friend or brother. Everybody is like, nah, you are either a creature or a monster or less than me. Like, who's just gonna look at this guy and be like, yeah, that's okay. We can be brothers or friends. It's sad. I know I'm way too focused on the niche aspect of a character that does not matter in the grand scheme of Star Wars. But goddamn, if Max Rebo can have a name and probably a backstory that I don't know anything about, I can get a little too invested in a random Zabrak, and I'm not going to feel too bad about that. Oh, okay, shit, we're still talking about Star Trek. What happened? You say this is someone who loves Next Gen more than pretty much every TV show before or since, except for Deep Space... I've never seen Deep Space Nine. I've also never seen Firefly, which I hear is very good. And I've never seen Stargate, which I hear is very good. I've never seen Lost, which people say the ending of sucked, but I remember before it ended, everybody was like, oh, you gotta watch Lost, and I was like, nah, that's fine. I think that's it. I think that's all the major sci-fi franchises that I haven't interacted. That's not true. There's probably a lot more, but yeah, I haven't seen any of those. First season of Next Gen is so dark, and by that you mean the lighting. They don't have it bright until season 2 or 3. I mean, have you seen movies these days? Dark is just like in the ersatz elevator in the fucking series of unfortunate events. Dark is very in right now. That, and to anyone who got that reference, you, and you alone, have taste. You took longer than expected, but you can hear the rant about Mando being chill to phone service operators, and that was on point. Thank you. If it wasn't very obvious, I work in customer service, so I often will compare characters to how people are on phones and shit like that. So yeah, Mando's definitely had to wait on hold, but still been polite about the entire experience. Even if he had to call back the next day because his issue wasn't resolved, he was never a dick to a customer service agent on the phone, and you can tell. And I'm sure he had to submit some very interesting insurance claims throughout his life. Because, probably having a Razor Crest that old is gonna cause some problems with... That's like an antique car at that point. You got weird regulations for insuring antique cars. He had to get transferred to several different departments. You just know it. There's also one episode of the first season of TNG. Ooh, it's got an abbreviation now. Love that. was so absurdly racist that the cast and crew nearly quit during production. Well, that's not ideal. That's really, really unfortunate. I hate to hear that. That sucks big time. I'm sure it's an episode that people have talked about being problematic, and probably A, people who have seen it would be the ones to talk about it. B, the voices of people who experience racism are probably way more educated and nuanced to speak about topics like that. So that would be a difficult one to talk about, being the person that I am and not having experienced racism, and the fact that, like, that is not my sphere of expertise at all. So if I do theoretically discuss my opinions on every Star Trek The Next Generation episode, I'll be like, this is a racist one, and it's bad, and here are other people talking about it way more smart than I would. Because, I'm not a, like, racial studies scholar, or whatever the actual field of study is. I've never experienced racism firsthand, so, I would not be the person to talk to about that, or speak about it. But it sucks that they made an episode like that, and I'm glad everybody who worked on it was like, hey, this is bad, and we shouldn't be doing it. Code of honor, it's skippable. Even you, a 9-year-old white small town kid, can recognize at the time that it was a problem. Yeah, well, sometimes subtlety just isn't fucking there at all. I'm glad I have you guys to talk to, though, because believe me, if I had stumbled on Clone Wars myself and was getting this deeply invested in the Star Trek in the Star Wars universe, without anyone to just, like, be like, yo, you see how fucked up this was? You see how bad this episode was? I would lose a little bit of my sanity every day. I appreciate you for being here and just reveling in the madness with me. They just keep aging better. Fair enough. Another thing I don't understand, and I'm astonished because there are people in the Star Wars RPG group that I'm joining who, despite the wealth of alien and robots and other options, have chosen, for whatever reason, that they're gonna play as humans, what they already are. I will never get that. People who play Imperial Guard in Warhammer. How? Like, I get that it's cool that you're just a regular dude standing in the face of, like, you know, a monstrous horde and saying, you know what, I'm gonna fight anyway. Like, I live for that shit in movies. Like, that's cool when, you know, the hero is facing down impossible odds, but you're already facing down impossible odds no matter what race you choose to play as, pretty much. So why? Why are you picking... You're already a human. You don't have to play pretend to be a human. Congratulations, sir. You are one. Be a dwarf or an orc or an elf this time. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will get it. I'm trying to understand. I want to comprehend that perspective. See where my fellow gamers are coming from. But I'm just not there yet. I don't get it. Where is my blood for the blood god? Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sick of painting More-athi right now. So, I think since she is a commission and I still need to do good work on her, she's going to be done for the night, I think. and I'll paint my little hot dog mech for a little bit longer. We'll go for another 20 or 30 minutes and see how far we can get on that. He was fun. I was working on him last night. Just as like a palette cleanser. Because I've been painting some pretty intense projects, and it's good to have something silly in between. I don't think you can get much sillier than a hot dog mech. Probably use more practice at being a human, but still mix it up. Yeah. I don't know. It boggles the mind for me. I'm just like, I will be literally anything else but a human. I'll take the non-human option every time. Not sure why, that's just always where your character ideas go. Hey, I mean, I'm not actually judging you for it. That would be the wrong, like, way to think about it. I can't relate, you know? Hydration is important. Literally all I'm going to do for this mech is base coat it and then basically baptize him in Nuln Oil. That, because I just want to keep it short, sweet, to the point, basic. Nothing fancy going on here. Just a fun little goofy guy. I could probably finish him if I try hard. I want to base coat some stuff in black and do some metallics, but maybe we can get him finished tonight. And I know, I want to paint my Tau, but I gotta prime them, and I haven't done it yet. I have to make a really big choice, whether I'm gonna go with Neapolitan Tau, or whether I'm gonna go with Transformers Constructicon colored Tau. Maybe I'll make a poll on Patreon, or a poll here on my actual YouTube, and have people vote for how they'd like to see me paint up Tau. Because I haven't been able to decide yet. I could do that, or I could have my cat pick a color scheme, because I've always wanted to do that. I just, you know, it seems like the logical direction for my channel to head. Yeah, this is a 3D printed hot dog mech robot guy. I don't remember where I found the STL file. Probably someone posted it on Instagram, and I asked them where they got it, and then they told me, and I asked one of my 3D printing friends to print it after purchasing the STL file, and they did. But yeah, he's pretty cool. I was painting More-athi earlier, but I just kind of got fatigued I got tired of painting her. I did a lot of work though. I painted her for like an hour and a half. Everybody was here and witnessed it, so, you know, I did put in the work, put in the hours, to get her closer to done. I think maybe I'm gonna say she has one more painting session and then a basing session, and then she's gonna be done, because I'm done after that. I think I've put in enough where my commissioner should be happy with it, and I can be satisfied with the work that I did. I could do one for the troops and one for the elites. I mean, I could, but they wouldn't look coherent as an army. And I really like to put my stuff in a display case and stand back and look at it and be like, yeah, them's my lads. And although I like to think of myself as someone who can make a lot of things work, when pushed to it, I don't know if one of the things that I can make work is actually gonna be like neon lime green, purple, and gray, and then as one color scheme alongside like ice cream parlor, pink, brown, and white as a Neapolitan scheme. I don't think that I can bring those two together. Uh, I wish I could. I wish I had the power to do that and see that in my head, but I can't visualize it. So I don't know that I can make it happen. Maybe I could try, but kind of don't want to try. I'd like to just pick one army scheme and go with it. You still have no real interest in any flavor of Warhammer, but tonight you learned that your local geek supply shop sells boxes of 10 pre-owned unpainted Space Marines for $10. You're really tempted to pick some up and see what all the hype is about. That could be worth it. It depends entirely on whether you think Space Marines look cool or not to me. 'Cause like I I don't think that I would have enjoyed painting Warhammer miniatures if the first one I painted was a Space Marine, just because I'd be like, okay, he's a little guy. But if you look at a Space Marine and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, then I think it's worth it to you. $10 is also a really freaking good price. So, I mean, if you're Space Marine curious, I would say that's an excellent entry point and you should try it out. But if you don't like Space Marines, don't do it. You can probably find, there's like issues of White Dwarf, which is a Warhammer, it's the Warhammer magazine, and there's usually like starter issues that come with the magazine and a little miniature, like one or two that you can paint up. And like, especially if the edition is kind of like older, because, you know, 9th edition's been out for a minute and Age of Sigmar's been out for a minute, you can pick those up for relatively cheap. I don't know how cheap, but they have miniatures in them as well if you want to test out. I don't know that they're a better deal than 10 Space Marines for $10. Like, that's $1 a Space Marine. That's a pretty good deal. Space Marine miniatures, thumbs down. Space Marine books, thumbs up. You can handle people saying brother that many times per minute, Chris? Impressed. I have acquired a Tau Codex as well, a PDF of it. So I'm going to be looking through. And of course, I definitely paid James Workshop for this PDF and was not advised by anyone where exactly I could avoid accidentally stumbling upon a PDF for free in the wild and not giving my money directly to James Workshop himself. For legal purposes, this is a joke, and I always respect creative, copyright law, and that, I respect that and purchase things directly from the manufacturer at all times. For legal purposes, all of this is a joke. I'm very clever. You ended up with a Primaris army because of Indominus, painted them like a pride flag. Every chapter is the best choice. I definitely have Space Marines that I think look cooler than other Space Marines, but I couldn't tell you much about Space Marine lore. My favorite Space Marine chapter, and I guess they're not a good guy chapter, but if I had to pick a chapter, I would pick Thousand Suns, because their giant little headdress stripy things make them look different from all the other space boys. So I can always pick them out, and I'm like, yep, those ones are Thousand Suns. That's why they're my favorite. Figure $1 a piece for any kind of mini is pretty good. Yeah, if nothing else, you could smash them apart with a hammer. Some miscellaneous sci-fi body parts for terrain. Yeah. You'll buy that box, you'll put it in another box, you'll mail that box to yourself, and when it arrives, you'll smash it with a hammer. Excellent, excellent strategy. Frankly, I mean, I don't like Space Marines, but if I saw a 10 for 10 deal on Warhammer miniatures, I might just snap it up and resell it. Or use it for basing, or paint them and send them to friends. That's, you could definitely do something with that. I did a responsible, and I looked through my collection of Warhammer miniatures, and I picked out some that I wasn't going to paint, because I'm not going to expand my Adeptus Mechanicus army, and I don't think I'm going to expand my Nighthaunt army either, and I listed them for reselling. So I felt proud of myself for doing that, because now I won't feel as guilty about starting a Tau army, because I don't have an Adeptus Mechanicus army that I now feel like I should be finishing. It's a fun basing thing. Yeah, absolutely. You'll have enough that you can kind of pick and choose. Like, if you like one, you can be like, okay, I'll paint this one. He'll be a guy. And all the rest will be his dead brethren. I'm not even trying to be particularly clean with this paint job. I am counting on the wash to do so much of the work for me. Which I probably shouldn't do. But, that's what we're doing. That's how we gonna do it. Because I want to finish something tonight. And it's gonna be this mech. If I finish anything. Certainly won't be More-athi. I tried, I wanted to, but she still has so much work that needs to be done. It is unfortunately just not viable. I'm also just going to dry brush the shit out of this guy with silver to make him look mechanical. I think is what we'll do. And then we'll slop some Nuln Oil on him and hope for the best. And that'll be it. Oh, shit, wait, I lied. His visor needs painted. He should have that painted in. Probably like a light blue. Dope. If I could get some paint out of this, that would be absolutely fantastic. There's probably enough. Scrape up that all with my brush and get it on the visor. He's messy, for sure, but he's fun. I ain't mad about it. There's always another thing. Yeah, there sure is. There sure is. It's like, listen, if I'm not excited about an army project or a painting project, and I don't have a strong reason to finish it, I just think it's best, like, those, if somebody gets those AdMech at a good deal, then that's a score for them, and something they can add to their army. I'm not trying to sell them for anything greater than what I paid for them. I just listed them on the old auction-y website, and was like, yep, here's a starting bid. I think I put auto at, like, what I think is the retail price that I paid for everything together, and then I'll let the fates decide how much money I make. I'm fine with that. It's a good old wait and see. Gonna call it a night. Got some work skin started. Good enough. Thanks for joining us, Josh. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you were able to get some work done on your orcs. Any day in which orcs get painted, that's a pretty good day overall, I think. Get some rest. There'll be more orcs to paint the next time you sit down, or the same amount of orcs, but you get to paint different parts of them. This paint tube is pretty clogged up, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna fix that, but I definitely don't want it to explode on me. Maybe we got enough silver out to do the dry brush. We'll see. We'll see. Is that even dry brushing? Is that doing a damn thing? I don't know. I don't think that it is. Not doing much, I can tell you that. So that's fun. We're trying. Yeah, that's not hitting the way that I wish it would. I don't think we got nearly enough silver, but that's okay. It's catching some of the edges, just not all of them. I'm not the best at dry brushing, I'll be honest with you. You'd think, how can you be bad at it? All you do is rub, paint on a mini. But I've never acquired the talent for it that some people have, where they can hit it perfectly and bring out all of the little details. But that's okay. I'm just gonna dunk this thing in Nuln Oil now. Need to dump a bunch of stuff? Hey, I mean, there's a whole internet website for that. There's also, like, local groups that you can trade with and stuff. I definitely asked if anyone in my local hobby space, like, had an AdMech army or were looking to have a Nighthaunt or AdMech army, but everybody either already had the models that I was looking to get rid of or was not interested in the army, so... yeah. Figured at that point it's okay to release it to the wilds of the internet and see what may come of it. Yeah. There definitely is a skilled dry brushing that I have not acquired. You know what there's no skill to? Dunking stuff in wash, though. I can slap this on and it'll make him all weird and greasy and robot-y. Look nice and dirty and all gross. Oily, I suppose. Oil is what they put on robots. Yeah. So that patina, I suppose. And I can try dry brushing him again if I want to. But probably I won't. Probably I'll just let the wash sink in and then have him be however he is. And be like, yep, I painted this guy in like an hour total probably, and he's just a giant hot dog. What am I gonna use him for? I don't know. I bought the model because it was silly and I liked it. That's enough of a reason. It'll make me chuckle. Even kind of like what's going on just leaving the base as it is in this weird kind of like blue semi-see-through thing. It makes him look like he's a character on a selection screen in a video game. I dig it. It's not my best paint job. It's barely a tabletop ready or acceptable paint job. But I like to do things in a shitty, quick way every now and again, because I just like to finish stuff. That is a good feeling when you can say, you know what? This is a finished product. It's not good, and I don't think it's my best work, but I turned it in on time. I did the thing. That there's something to be said for that too. You know? I don't know. Maybe everybody is on the opposite side of that, but if I can paint a hot dog mech in like 45 minutes and be happy with it, that's a win for me. The hot dog is making you hungry? Yeah. I've been craving hot dogs since I started painting him, so sorry. I don't have a good solution for that. But yeah, he's got a wash on him now, and I can call him done if I want to. So that's something. Just a fun little, you know, because More-athi's super detailed and it's taking forever. Ugh. She's getting done though. She's getting done. I bitch, but she's coming along. She really is. She isn't. I won't be in More-athi hell for too much longer. However, I think I am done. Done for the night. I want to watch a few episodes of the Clone Wars and eat some ice cream and go to bed or something along those lines. I've been streaming for 2 hours and I think my brain's about to die. So that's where we're gonna end it for tonight. I will see about making a poll for deciding some Tau color schemes. I might do like a quick digital mock-up of some of the ideas I had so people can vote on them. But yeah. If you have any good Tau color schemes that come to you in the middle of the night, post them in the Discord server. And I'll check them out. Have a good night, everybody.